Welcome to Scandalwater,
where we cover the stories that have captivated the entertainment world.
I'm Candy, a longtime educator and community theater actress.
And I'm Ashley, a writer and co-founder of a local theater group.
We're two friends who share a love of entertainment.
From true crime docuseries, to blockbuster movies, to classic TV, to Broadway shows, and everything in between.
Each week, I share a compelling story related to pop culture.
And I chime in using my trivia junkie brain.
We stick to the facts until it's time to settle into our armchairs at the end.
Then we're simply two women with a strong cup of tea and even stronger opinions.
We're Scandalwater.
And if this sounds like your cup of tea,
follow the show on your favorite podcast app or the Scandalwater Podcast YouTube channel.
Oh, it's that time of day. Tune in and hear what the ladies say. It's time to bend your ear when the silver screen appears. Stories about the stage and screen and everything in between. So come on and join the fun. The curtain opens in 3, 2, 1.
Happy 200th, Ashley. Can you believe we made it?
No, I cannot. We are here. 200 conversations. That's like probably 400 hours of talking, if not more, 400 to 500 hours of talking that we have done, and we're not tired of each other yet. That's amazing.
Not a bit.
Let's go.
Years ahead of us.
Great.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited about this. It's been 4 years that we've been on the air, basically.
Yeah.
But really, it's been closer, almost 5 years. Almost 5 years we've been working on this. I mean, this has been a long project for us.
Yes, it has. I wrote it down in my calendar. I think January 2nd or 3rd is the first time we recorded of 2021, but we didn't release until October of 2021. So we would meet every once in a while and we'd say, okay, let's do this. Let's do another episode. Let's see how it goes. And we did, I think it was 10 episodes in 9 months. And now we're doing 50 episodes in a year.
Before we launched, we knew we wanted to release 4 at the same time. Yeah. So that people could get a flavor, get a taste of what Scandalwater was going to be like. And so we knew we had to have a pool that was bigger than that. So there was a lot of work that went into it.
There was.
A lot of work. And in fact, what we should say is this episode is meant to be a celebration of 200 episodes. We are going to reminisce a little bit about the early days and talk through some of the episodes, but we also want to give a shout out to some of our supporters. Yeah. One being the fella you heard at the top of this episode. If you listen to our ending credits, you also hear a shout out to him at the end of every episode as well. But that was Josh Martin, one of our friends, a very talented artist who created the theme song for us. He wrote it, he sang it, all of it.
Yeah.
It was all Josh.
I think I remember we told him that we wanted it to sound like a fun 90s kind of theme song, like a Full House, kind of how they told a story. And I love it. I still bop to it when it comes on. It's good.
Yes.
Oh, we also give a shout out to our friend, Matt C. Adams. He designed, if you see we're wearing our t-shirts, he designed our logo and he did our caricatures. That's our logo that we did. Bree Highshoe took our photo that we are now using. And Josh Reith is our webmaster who gets many a call from us. Like, Josh, help us. Help us.
Even recently, this week.
Yeah, like, help. And he's always there and he always helps.
Yeah, we are so appreciative of our supporters. They have been amazing. And I don't know if we've said this yet, but we showed our t-shirts. So if you're listening to this on audio only, you've probably picked up on the fact that this is available as a video. If you go over to our YouTube channel, you can watch this instead of just listen. There actually are going to be some other visuals coming up here in just a second. Oh. So little teaser. Okay. If you want to switch over real fast. But Ashley, I didn't tell you I was going to do this.
Okay.
But I thought it would be fun if we were going to reminisce a little bit about some of the early days. I thought maybe bringing back a few photos might be fun.
Aww,
so if you don't mind letting me share the screen here for a second, I'm going to pull up just a few photos. Can you see?
Now I do. Oh, look at you.
So I brought this up because actually I didn't have yours.
Oh.
But you mentioned Matt Adams, our friend and artist. who created our little thumbnail. This was the picture I sent in. You sent one as well, and that's what led to
Look how
this
cute you look.
thumbnail.
Yes.
Yeah. And then this was our very first ever photo on Facebook, our Facebook page.
Oh.
I believe we had come together for a reading of the play you and your mom had written, correct?
Yes, this was
But
at the reading for Glow, I believe. Yeah.
yes, but while we were there, we took some photos and we were talking about the podcast, and this was just before it was getting ready to launch.
Those innocent girls.
I know. Look at these excited girls here.
Oh, we are excited. That was in the old recording area. That was in
Mm.
my editing room. And if you see behind me, boy, look at that behind me. That's the Lemonade Jamboree film schedule. So
Oh,
that's what I
yeah.
was working on. And then above that is my sister's handprint. She was a little turkey. She made a little
Oh,
turkey, so that's what that is.
it was probably one of our first 10 episodes, right?
Probably.
Yeah, this was early on. This was one of our first little pictures that we took of ourselves recording. Look how excited we are.
We are so excited.
This was another one we took. We were going to actually try to create our first little video clip promo. I don't know that we actually ended up using it, but
No.
this was our first stab at it. This was our first ever interview.
He was our first interview, Tommy Doo. Gosh, that
Yeah.
was such a funny story. That's where he was telling the story about the bird that got splatted. It was so
While on a tour.
yes.
Yes. This, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was this our very first field trip?
I think it was. Yeah.
We went to see the Van Gogh experience in Louisville. And this was our first international. That is not a good picture. It did not come out well when
That's
I
okay.
this up.
Mr.
But yes.
I was saying that was such a surprise. As a person who loves Jurassic Park, who knew that this little podcast that I loved, where they were talking about tea, and then he just comes out with, "Oh, by the way, I worked on the Jurassic World marketing team." Excuse me? What? That was amazing.
I'm disappointed though, because we actually spoke with Emma. That's how we found Jack.
Yeah.
And I pulled the wrong picture because I don't have one with Emma in it. So I'm disappointed.
We'll put it in our show notes.
Okay, let's do that. And then
Oh, look at that. That was our first media coverage. It says August 25th, 2022 is what the newspaper says. And oh, we're recording this August 28th, 2025. So 3 years later, we're still here.
and we're still here. I love it. Yeah, this was a local paper that wanted to do a little feature on us, which was very, very sweet. And we're wearing our shirts there too. This represents a lot.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. This was our first time ever traveling out of state together. I would say, I mean, we've met a lot of really awesome, incredible people, but I think Leanne Morgan might be the first, what would you call it?
I mean, I would say that she's currently a mega celebrity. You know,
Right.
there's
Right.
people that have been celebrities in their time, but right now, this is her time to be a real celebrity. And she just launched a Netflix sitcom,
Which I've watched.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it's fun. It really is. I would recommend that people try it out.
Okay, cool.
That brings us to today, because we had a picture of our first setup where we record.
Yeah.
Here's an interview we did just very recently with filmmaker Jefferson Moore.
That's so
And
cool. I love my library. Look how good my books look, everybody. If you're on YouTube, look at those beautiful books. And
it does look amazing.
Them. It's amazing.
Yeah. You are the most organized person with your books that I think I've ever met. You have like an order for every one of them.
I sure do. Not in my real life, but my books are going to look good.
Okay, well, that's the end of this little slideshow. So give me a minute
fun.
and I'll get out of that. All right, well, that was fun. Do you have any other memories of the early days, Ashley?
I just remember all the fun conversations, and then but then after a while, how they all kind of blend together. You think, oh, I'm never going to forget anything about this. And then somebody will come up and say something like, oh, what did I think about that? I don't remember what I thought about that. But I also remember things that were happening off screen for us as we recorded, the conversations we had before recording, the closeness that our friendship has gotten just closer, I feel like, and the things we've been through in our personal lives that we've walked through together through this podcast. It's just been very enriching. you know?
It absolutely has. It's just been an amazing experience in every way. In fact, I mean, I absolutely agree with everything you said about our friendship and it bringing us closer together. But even as an individual, it's been this avenue of personal growth for me.
Yeah.
Because let me go ahead and say this. I think this is maybe a point that would be fun to bring out. So many people have asked me, and I think they do you as well, how do you start a podcast? Like, what's the process you follow? How do you do it? And it is so hard for me to answer that question because you and I are these two ladies who just suddenly decided we were going to do something that we knew nothing about.
Yeah.
And we would just literally bulldoze our way through whatever the next hurdle might be.
Right.
And so we would listen to modules and figure this part out. We would get so far, we would find a domain, we would find a name. Every single piece of it took so much. Like finding a name was such a process.
Wow.
Like every single piece was so hard. And we would have to Google or we would reach out to resources. Sometimes we would turn to a friend like Josh Reith and say, we don't know how to make a website. Josh, can you do it for us? We'll pay you. It was such a long, hard process with so many more pieces to it than I ever would have imagined. And it makes me really proud that we did it and
Yeah.
we persevered and
Yeah.
we figured it out, even though it seems like such a long journey that I can't even remember all the steps.
I know, I know. And it's hard to answer in a couple sentences. How do I start a podcast? And you kind of want to go, well, I don't know. Do you really want to? Because it's going to be a lot. It's going to be way more than maybe you should just jump in before you realize how much work is in it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
good career advice. Career advice is to just dive in and figure it out as you go. But that's what we did.
That's what we did. And again, I come back to I will forever be grateful that we did do this together because I've learned so much. I've had so many exciting opportunities. I've talked to so many interesting people. I've been forced to step outside my comfort zone on so
Right.
many different occasions. I mean, there's so many things I'm thankful for.
Me too.
So let's move into our celebration.
Okay.
What we thought we would do in order to basically reflect on some of our standout episodes, some of the different content or experiences that have made an impression on us or lingered with us, we thought we'll just give some awards. So there are two awards that we both knew about to start with. So we've been able to prepare.
Yes.
We come into this knowing who we want to designate, which episodes we want to designate as the winners of these two awards. But then Ashley came up with two awards that I don't know about, and I came up with two that she doesn't know about. So for
Mhm.
those, we'll be answering, one of us will be answering off the top of our heads.
Right. Right.
Okay.
I have a feeling that I think these first two, I think we're going to pick the same ones. I think
We may.
I think we
I thought so for at least one of them, for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first award is called And the Oscar Goes To.
Mhm.
And what we were both supposed to do was to think about, we're each going to choose two. So, which two episodes do we think are some of our most outstanding in terms of like, these are the award winning episodes? Ashley, what did you pick?
You want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I did it like a runner up, like a pageant. The runner up is
Okay.
so,
Okay.
and I cheated a little bit because my runner up is a two-parter. My
Okay.
runner up is Jaws. It's episodes 39 and 40. And I made note they originally aired on 6/7 and 6/14 of 2022. And I noticed, I'm going to say this ahead of time. I noticed with a lot of my awards, I kind of lived in the early stuff. So that's
Mm-hmm.
a little teaser for you. So when I think of award winners, I think not just of the quality of the episode itself, because they've all been good, but I think of the
Mm-hmm.
memories of recording it and how I felt when I was editing it and the overall essence of the episode. And I remember feeling when we were doing Jaws, like it had the whole package. It was
Mm-hmm.
incredibly fun to watch the movie. It was fun to record the episodes. And I can't remember, but I think we had a few glitches while I was editing. We may have had to work out some stuff, but I remember also feeling like, yeah, I think we're figuring this podcast thing out. I think we're really hitting our stride and we might actually have something here. And then plus It was nostalgic. It hit on the
Mhm.
underdog aspect of Steven Spielberg and filmmaking, which resonated with me when I was a young person who wanted to be a filmmaker. And it's just like a really exciting story, and it led to some really cool follow-up episodes. We had the New Jersey shark attack episode and our field trip to see the shark is broken. So that's why I thought it was a worthy runner-up.
Absolutely. That's a good choice.
Thank you.
My runner-up was You're Not Crazy, You're Being Gaslighted,
Oh, yes.
episode 4 that aired on October 19th of 2021.
Mhm.
So many reasons why I love that episode. I have the personal connection because I was in the play,
Yeah.
loved the play, but also it led us to talk about gaslighting, which is such a relevant topic. So many people are fascinated by it and or living through it.
Yes, yes, yes.
So yes, and we got a lot of great feedback from that. So
Yes.
that was my runner up. All right. Who was your winner?
I'm gonna give you a spoiler. That's one of my award winners for later
Okay.
that I chose for a different category. So
Okay. That's
yeah,
all right.
yes, but I'm just because I just want you guys to know that. Okay, so my winner, and I'm not sure. This might be the one that is your winner too. I don't know. I don't know. The tragic bitter blood murders.
That's my winner as well.
Okay, so
Yeah.
here's it was episode 104, 9/26, 2023. And this is the one that while I was editing it, I just felt was incredibly special. And I'm going to say it was I had nothing to do with that episode. It was completely due to your storytelling. I had never
Oh,
heard of this
thank you.
case and it wrecked me. I remember being on the edge of my seat. It was so tragic, so senseless, and it was also truly frightening to think of a woman who had that dangerous personality. And it was even
Mhm.
more frightening to think that there are other women out, and men, but I'm just saying other women out there like her. And Lori Vallow comes to mind as someone who we have not covered, but similarly frightens me. So
Mhm.
that I just felt like I remember I think even getting goosebumps while I was editing it, and I thought this is truly a special episode. So
Oh,
that's my winner.
yeah. And I agree with a lot of the points that you've already said, but for me, it has such a personal connection.
Right,
I
right.
was very personally
Yeah.
connected to that, which I talk about in the episode. And I'd read the book a few times.
Mhm.
It was honestly, I will say, it was an awful lot of work. Like
Yeah.
it took a lot of research and a lot of work, and that felt like an accomplishment to me. And then the last thing I would say was that it also led to such an exciting opportunity. We ended up
Yeah.
getting to talk to Detective Lynn Nobles,
Mhm.
who was on the case from the word go. So yes, yeah,
He
I
gave us a
also
lot of he also gave us a lot of insights that clarified some things. After
yes.
we had so many questions and he was like, I remember feeling really sorry for that one little guy. And he's like, don't feel sorry for him. You know? I was like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, okay.
Yeah, it was fascinating. If you all have not listened to the Bitter Blood episode and that interview with Detective Lynn Nobles, you really should check it out.
Mhm,
So good. Okay, let's move to the next award,
mhm.
the Ugly Duckling Award. This is an episode that gave us trouble or pause or somehow it raised concerns, but then ended up being
Pretty good.
pretty good, or
Yeah,
we were pleased with it.
yeah.
So I'll start this time.
Okay.
My runner up for this was A Dickens of a Good Time at the Conrad Caldwell Candlelight Christmas Tour,
I
episode 67, that aired on December 20th, 2022. And do you
I
remember
totally
why?
forgot about this. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the plan for it fell through and we had to
Uh-huh.
pivot. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Keep talking. Yeah.
That's exactly it. We had a totally different field trip planned, and our plans collapsed at the last minute.
Hmm.
Made these reservations, found this candlelight tour at this historic home, beautiful historic home in Louisville, and got the tickets literally like the same day we found out the plans finished. It was buying tickets that day to a whole new experience. And not only did it turn out to be delightful, but we come in unannounced on this tour, and the tour guides and the manager end up speaking with us and letting us take sound bites from the tour. I mean, it was wonderful.
It really was.
Wonderful.
That's a
Yes.
really good choice. I had totally forgotten about Yeah, that was an example of that's the pivot award right there. It's
Yes.
pivot big time. Now, my runner-up ugly duckling is more from an editing standpoint. So I chose Vanity Fair and Leanne Morgan.
Oh,
And it's not that it was an ugly duckling. We had a magnificent time. I'm thinking of it like I said, purely from an editing standpoint. It was a wild, fun, unexpected weekend, even though I got horribly motion sick on the way home. But that has nothing to
mhm.
do with it. I remember just getting home and realizing I had a ton of audio, a short turnaround, because again, we had another episode planned, but you won this award, and we're like, hey, let's turn it into an episode. Oh, wait, it's got to come out in a couple weeks. And I was like, how do I shape this into something coherent? Because I was totally overwhelmed by my own ambition. I was just running around with the thing. I had so much content. And this is one of the times you stepped in with your English teacher knowledge and was like, here's how we're going to shape this. Because I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to put it all out there and let everybody enjoy it. And I think this was our first brush with like the big time, because I think, if memory serves me, we had to have Leanne's people listen to the episode, right?
We did.
Make sure that they approved of the
Mhm.
way that we represented her and the audio that we used. And so we had to wait for them to give permission. I remember being like, oh, I hope she likes it. And I wanted it to be something that reflected our weekend together and painted Leanne and San Antonio in this fabulous light. And it turned out, I think, really good. But
Mhm.
again,
Yeah, me
that was a
too.
lot due to your help going, okay, let's shape this together.
Well, but that was a lot of work from you, and absolutely 100% credit to you, because while we were on that trip, I was caught up in,
Yeah.
"This is amazing," and Ashley is over there like a little on the
Oh,
spot reporter.
I
She is just
was.
like I mean, you had I so much gumption. Like, I would have never been able to do that. You would be like, "Hey, do you have a minute? Come on over here. Let me ask you some questions." And every single person was delighted to talk with
We're like,
you.
okay. Les Nessman would have been so proud of me. I was an on the spot reporter.
Absolutely. Actually, it threw me for a second when you said Les Nessman, because the winner of
Winner.
my ugly duckling is the episode on WKRP in Cincinnati, their famous Thanksgiving episode called Turkeys Away. That's what we titled
Was
our
so
episode.
close to being my winner too.
It was November 23rd of 2021 that it released. And what happened was, it was my early days of podcasting,
Yeah.
and I had not figured out how much content do I need, because we had it in our minds. We wanted to shoot for 45 minutes to 60 minutes
Yeah.
for our episode length,
Yeah.
but it was hard to know. If I have 17 pages of notes, what's that gonna equate to? Or if it's 10 pages of so anyway, I came into this one and we recorded it, and I think we're done. And you look at me like, Candy, is
That's like
that
10
it?
minutes.
Is that everything? And right on the spot, you were kinda like, "I think we need to flesh it out a little more." And, like, we both were Googlings, and we came up with a couple of other interesting tidbits, other things that we could talk about, and we just recorded more, and then you had to, like, splice it together and make it make sense.
Yep.
Kudos to your editing, and I think it turned out to be a fun episode,
It
but I
did.
remember I remember in that moment being like, "Oh."
Oh, I don't have enough. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going like, oh, you're done. Oh, okay. Well, that was like 20 minutes. So we need to talk some more.
Mm,
Okay,
yeah.
so again, I cheated a little in my winner. I could not, it's a tie because
Okay.
you're going to know why. Tie between staging a murder and an episode you can sink your teeth into, which was episode
Okay.
1 and episode 6. And the reason it's episode 1 and 6 is because it was our first day of recording, that very first day I referenced, like January 3rd, 2nd or 3rd. And we recorded, we were so nervous. I was very nervous. It was my first time setting up all the podcasting equipment, and I messed it up so bad, where the audio was just wrong. I think I even hooked your microphone to pick up my voice, and mine picked up yours, so it sounded like we were in this echo chamber. And we got through all of it, and it was something that I didn't know about. So the
Right.
staging a murder, I had no idea. So if we tried to redo it, I would know the whole story. And you said, let's just keep it and do your best. So I think I was learning how to edit at that point, edit audio, and I sent it to a
Mhm.
friend. I was like, please help me fix this. And he was like, well, I think it's about the best you can do. But Anyway, it's out there haunting me because I feel like it's our first episode, and I feel like when you listen to it, you think, oh, they don't know what they're doing. No, I didn't at that point, but I did figure it out. And
Yes.
200 episodes later, I think we figured it out. I'm still a little iffy on this Zoom audio because we have not figured out a way for, in particular, my voice. And who knows how this is going to sound. We've tried microphones, we've tried headphones, we've tried everything. And now we're just using the regular audio from Zoom, and it seems to be working. But yeah.
Well, and the other glitch is that sometimes our Wi-Fi signals are not the best, and for whatever reason, we will what do you call it? We'll get off by 2 to 3 seconds. There'll be a delay or some kind of out of sync audio issue.
Yep.
So it's fun. we just navigate it, roll on, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now we are into the awards that the other person does not know about.
Right.
Would you like to start, or do you want me to?
It depends. My first one is a funny one. So do you want to do a funny one, or do you want to do whatever yours is?
Well, sure. Let's do a funny one.
Okay. And I am going to say I am not counting this month, the subs of this month, because they would also win this award. But I don't count them. So my funny award, I'm calling it the Ridonculous Behavior Award.
Okay. Got it.
So ridiculous, Ridonculous, however you want to say it. So my runners up, again with a two-parter, sorry about that, the Chicago women, Beulah and Belva Gartner. It's a two episodes 44 and 45. It aired on 7/12 and 7/19 of 2022. For those who do not know, they were the inspiration for the characters Roxy and Velma in the play Chicago and eventually the musical Chicago. And I cannot believe these ridiculous women literally got away with murder. I used to early on think that Chicago was like a fictional story, but no, it was real. It also makes me realize how nuts Chicago was in the 20s. Feels like Wild West. People were just killing each other. And these ladies got away with it because they knew how to work the press. That was just wild to me. But I will say the best part is that we got to know more about the life of Maureen Dallas Watkins, the writer of Chicago, and she was incredible.
So absolutely. Yeah, that's a good one. So now I'm regretting it was my idea that we surprise each other. And now I wish I could go back and look at those 200 episodes because I'm probably stealing your number one right now. The only thing that's coming to my head right at the moment is Herb Stempel.
Number one.
That's yes.
Yeah.
So, and part of why that resonates with me is because of your reactions as I was telling that story. So go ahead and jump in and you go ahead and talk about it as your number one, and then I'll think of it. My
different one. Okay, my winner. I'll take quiz shows for $25,000. It was episode 8. It aired on 11/16/21. Mr. Herb Stempel. We have covered ruthless murderers, and so far I don't think anyone has tripped my temper as bad as Herb Stempel. My eyes are watering. I can't believe him. I don't remember what all he did, other than being a cheating McCheater. And I remembered that he ticked me off so badly that every time I hear his name, I want to go like Herb. And I'm going to apologize to his family because I hope he was a lovely man and that they have fond memories, but he was also a cheaterson, and I cannot abide by it. Maybe it's the INFJ coming out of me hardcore, and like I said, it's making my eyes water just thinking of him. a little tear in my eye. He made me so mad. So you could pick if you want.
Well, I have somebody in mind.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Now, I mean, again, if I were to look back through all the episodes, I'm sure I might find something that would stand out to me even more. But off the top of my head, I do remember, and we may disagree on this because I know that you're more of a supporter of him than I was. Bernie Tiede.
Oh, yeah. No, that was terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, and he put her in the freezer.
He put her in the freezer. Like, what are you doing, man? That's the that's ridiculous. Don't do
like
that.
There was so much that he was doing where I'm like, what? You don't think you're gonna what? Yeah. So Bernie Tiede. I think he would be one that could qualify.
That's a good
one. So one of mine. Now you're gonna like this one.
Okay.
The Intriguing Interview Award.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So my runner-up, we have so many amazing interviews. So I just need to say right off the top of my hat that everybody could win an award. They were all so good. But I'm going to give this one to Tori Murden McClure,
Oh, yeah.
because it was so fascinating to get to talk to this woman who was a world record holder for rowing and also wrote a book that inspired a musical. And I mean, it was just so fascinating. And on top of that, it was just the whole experience to go to her workplace, the
Yeah.
university, to set up there, to be in her office that is filled with all of these fascinating artifacts from her adventures and her accomplishments. Like every bit of it was just a really cool, amazing experience. And then, of course, the interview itself was fascinating.
Mhm.
So, okay.
Okay, then I think my runner-up will be Eric Archilla.
Okay.
Because I was such a humongous fan, I still am a humongous fan of 1865. And it was just sort of this podcast gave me the chance to talk to a creator who I also love audio theater. And I liked hearing the behind the scenes about how they wrote the series, their struggles in putting the series together, his love of history. He's a teacher, he's a drama teacher. So I had a lot of things in common with him as far as what he enjoyed doing. So to me, it was kind of like a wow, I'm excited that I get to learn more from this person whose content I've already been enjoying. Like,
Yeah. So for my winner, I'm going to give it to Anne D'Angelo.
oh,
She
yeah.
was the author of Traveling the Dark Highway, and this was episode 102. It came out in September of 2023, and it was the second part of this series because in the first part, using her book, we outlined the entire story of Verna Gar Taylor's murder, which was local, very fascinating, felt very personal. And then we got to come back after talking, and both of us had read the book and delved into it so deeply. And then we got to talk to this woman lawyer who had gotten really interested in this case and investigated it so thoroughly. And it was fascinating.
I agree.
Fascinating.
Really good choice. I'm going to go back to my entertainment roots. I don't think anything can top the joy that I felt when we interviewed Jack Ewens because
Mm,
discovering, I mean, you know how much I love Jurassic Park anyway. And then discovering that he was also not only a super fan of it, he has his own YouTube channel where he talks about it, which I subscribe and I still like interact with him sometimes commenting on his stuff. And to know that he worked on the marketing of Jurassic World and then watching the stuff that he created and hearing him talk about how a random broken leg. I think he broke his leg or his arm or something. And it led to, through a series of events, led to him having this job. Just how it underscored for me how just the tiniest little thing that happens can lead to something
the
that's,
butterfly effect.
yeah, and it's a dream come true. So that
Yeah.
was what I took away from his interview, besides the fact that I was super fangirling about the fact that he got to be part of this franchise, and I gladly cede the #1 fan award to him. But that things, little things that feel like nothing in the moment, can become life changing. And him to
Yeah.
talk to the director and saying, "Hey, you're missing this in the show. You might want to do this kind of scene." He's like, "Oh yeah, I've got that. Let me put it in." That's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. Before we move on to the next award, just because we have had so many wonderful people
Yeah.
agree to let us interview them, I'm going to quickly read this list. I believe it's comprehensive, but please listen. And if I've left somebody out, you jump in. And this, by the way, does not include all the amazing people who sent us sound bites
Oh
or
yeah, yeah.
audio clips or, shorter little thoughts and insights that we've included that have meant so much. So here we go. Charleston tour guide Tommy Dew, Cheryl Allison from the book Honk and her social media,
Mhm.
Emma Ewens from Pot of Tea, and Jack Ewens from Jurassic World Dominion, Hannah from Chili Bee ASMR, Dr. Jack Wan, an acting teacher and director, Adam Seltzer, historian and tour guide, Douglas Perry, author and journalist,
That was a good one.
the tour guides and manager from Conrad Caldwell, Eric Archilla, co-creator of 1865, the podcast, the cast and supervisors associated with Jurassic Quest, author Anne D'Angelo, the winners and everyone associated with the Leanne Morgan Vanity Fair Awards, leaders associated with the Louisville Jack-o'-lantern Spectacular, the author and world record holder Tori Murden McClure, Brad Long, who played Buddy in Hoosiers, members of the Kentucky Shakespeare in the Park, troupe, Kurt Toffland, who created Shakespeare Behind Bars, Detective Lynn Nobles, Wes Switek, author and journalist, Dawn G., local news anchor and humanitarian, the cast and crew of the Falcon Theater's The Shark is Broken, and Jefferson Moore, independent filmmaker and actor.
That's an amazing list.
It's
My
amazing.
gosh. Some of those you said,
Amazing.
oh yeah, that was good. Oh yeah, that was good.
Amazing. All of them. So good. I think that brings us to the next award, and it's yours, right?
Yes. So this is one that you kind of already know my winner, but I'll tell you my category and the runner-up. I'm calling it another Cuppa Award. It's episodes that have left me wanting more content about them.
Oh.
Like I would like to do more episodes about them. So my runner up was Agatha Christie's most famous mystery, her own 1926 disappearance. It was episode 114. It aired on 12/5 of 2023. And Agatha is one of my all-time favorite authors. And I remember thinking that I wish the episode could go on longer. And it made me want to create more content about her, like her writing, her plays, her characters, the movies made about her work. I would love like a whole month theme just on her, but that's my personal opinion because I just like her so much. So that's what I wanted. I remember as we were recording, it was one of those where you're like, I'm done. I'm like, oh, you're done. Talk more.
I think my runner-up would be the Waverly Hills episode.
Mm.
Look at your face. We're going to be so different here.
Really?
I was so into that Waverly Hills episode. I found it fascinating historically. I found it fascinating from that kind of spooky supernatural element. I found it fascinating because it's personal. Like I've been there and my mom had a relative that she visited there who had TB. I mean, so it was just fascinating to me on every level. And we've talked about this. I would love to do more local creepy spots.
I know you
or
would love to do that.
I would.
Anybody who would love to go with Candy on we are looking for volunteers. Little Timmy at Waverly will go with you. Why don't you just, ask little Timmy to go with you to these other spooky spots?
Timmy, I've got a ball.
Makes my eyes water a little bit. Oh. Okay, so my winner, which we already is You're Not Crazy, You're Being Gaslighted. Episode 4, it aired on 10/19/2021, and I feel as professional armchair psychologists, this is the episode where we could have talked for hours without getting bored. I think there's so much to learn about gaslighting and psychological abuse as a concept, and using the movie Gaslight made that episode truly one of our most edutaining, which has always been one of our main goals with the podcast.
Awesome. I'm going to say, and I don't know that I can call up just one episode. I think this would actually pertain to several, but I get one example would be Back to the Dark Highway, because technically that was an unsolved case. The way it ended with the person who had been charged with a crime being murdered, it never technically was solved. And so the idea of mysteries in general and unsolved mysteries led me, I actually texted you one day, what was it, last week, and said, we need to do a whole month on unsolved mysteries.
Yes.
So I think
we're going to, right?
We are. Yes. Season 5, it's coming.
Speaking of season 5, that was a good segue. Do you think this would be a good chance to tell everybody what we're going to do as far as our release schedule for season 5?
Oh, yes. We're going to try something different. So for 4 years, during our first 4 seasons, we have released an episode every Tuesday. And what we're realizing is it's an awful lot of content, especially since we added the mini-sodes. So that's been an extra episode every month for us that's been available to our supporters on Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. And we've also heard from listeners that sometimes they have a hard time keeping up because a lot of content is coming at them.
Right.
So for season 5, what we're going to do is continue to release our episodes every Tuesday, like always, except on the last Tuesday of every month. That Tuesday, if you're a listener on the main feed, you will not see a new episode come out. But if you are a member of Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon, then you will have access to a new mini-sode on that final week. So there will be some new content, but it'll be for our supporters on those 2 sites. So that's how it's going to look.
Yeah, that also streamlines the mini-sodes, Because
Mhm.
before we were just kind of releasing them willy-nilly. If it related to a topic, we'd say, oh, let's record the mini-sode and release it this week. And so some people were like, when is the mini-sode coming out? It's just sort of, and this makes it more streamlined. You can expect when the mini-sode's going to be out. It's going to be out the last Tuesday of every month.
And that starts this month.
This month.
So, yeah. All right, Ashley. Well, I think that brings us to the end. 200 episodes. We couldn't do it without our listeners. I mean, I come back to what we started with. We are just two women who didn't have a clue what we were doing and started this podcast. And because you guys have stayed with us and listened to us and supported us, here we are, ready to continue, hopefully for a long time more. So we end with a final cheers to all of you.
Cheers.
If you love what we do, please rate and review our show or become a supporter through Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon. Whether a single gift or recurring monthly donation, your support is what allows us to keep the tea brewing.
Subscribe on your favorite podcast app or the Scandal Water Podcast YouTube channel, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Show notes are available at our website, scandalwaterpodcast.com, where you can also access the merch store and more.
This episode was executive produced by Candy Thomas, that's me, and Ashley Raymer Brown,
that's me.
It was researched and written by Candy Thomas and edited by Ashley Raymer Brown.
A special thank you to Josh Martin, who wrote, composed, and performed the Scandal Water theme and other music. Matt C. Adams, who created the artwork, and Joshua Reith, who designed our website and provides ongoing technical support.
As a reminder, this podcast is purely for entertainment purposes. The thoughts and opinions of the host during each episode of Scandal Water are their own and do not reflect the opinions of any future guests, advertisers, or clearly professional psychologists. Thanks for listening.